It's a new year and nothing much has happened in the world of video games yet. So let us spend some time looking back at what happened in 2023. It was a year full of amazing games, but sadly also a year full of data leaks. These leaks were very unfortunate for the companies involved and in some cases are downright dangerous since the personal information of many employees was also leaked. The silver lining for the rest of us was that these leaks gave us an insight into how some of the biggest companies in the game industry work. And these are things that no one would normally know unless they actually worked in these companies or personally knew someone who does. So let us take a look at what these leaks have taught us about the video game industry. As a disclaimer, there will be no video footage of any of the leaks shown here. So this is one of those videos where there's not much to see, so you might want to treat it as a podcast or something. First, let's talk about development costs. For a long time, game developers and publishers have been bringing up the high production costs of making video games. We always knew that it took hundreds of millions of dollars to develop and market a AAA game, but the exact numbers were not always revealed to the general public. Thanks to a number of leaks from Sony, we now know the development costs of some of its most popular games. For instance, The Last of Us Part 2 cost $220 million and took 200 full-time employees 6 years to make. Horizon Forbidden West cost $212 million and took 300 full-time employees 5 years to make. More recently, Marvel's Spider-Man 2 from Insomniac Games took $315 million to make. But in this case, many people believe that the licensing fee charged by Marvel to use its characters is quite high, which explains why this game took an extra $100 million to make compared to other Sony games. Either way, these numbers confirm what many analysts have been saying for years. AAA games cannot afford to take many risks and have to play it safe because they have to sell millions of copies just to break even. This is why indie games are the ones coming up with more unique ideas, because even if they flop, they don't really lose hundreds of millions of dollars. This was only a theory until recently, but these numbers provide conclusive evidence. Also, if these budgets keep going up like this, we may not even have a sustainable AAA game market in the long term, because customers are already complaining about high game prices, and the publishers can't safely make back their investment with the current pricing model. Next, let's talk a little bit more about the Insomniac Games leak, more specifically about the Wolverine game. The leak contained a lot of early gameplay footage, but also many design documents and other tiny details about the game's production plans. Insomniac Games is a well-respected studio in the industry, and these leaks, while unfortunate, also confirmed that the studio is very efficient and well organized in its production process. Again, it was a real shame that this incident happened, but I hope this ends up helping the company by attracting employees who would like to be part of such a robust development team. Next, let us talk about Microsoft and the Xbox division. A lot of details about Xbox were leaked last year, including details about their upcoming console and also revenue from Xbox Game Pass. But perhaps the most interesting part was how developers are compensated for adding their games to the Game Pass catalog. If you're a developer whose game is deemed worthy to be included in Game Pass, you are paid a flat fee depending on how much potential that game has. For AAA studios, this number can be as high as $250 million, which is the estimate that Xbox has for releasing a game like Suicide Squad on day one. For smaller games, it can be something like $5 million, which is still a decent infusion of cash for a small studio. But all this spending means that Xbox Game Pass as a model cannot be sustainable in the long term, unless it continues attracting millions of new subscribers each year. That seems difficult at the moment, because Xbox as a brand is not doing so well in comparison with Sony, which continues to be at the top of the market. Things might change in 2024 though, once Activision Blizzard's catalog of games gets added to Game Pass. Finally, there was a smaller leak about the company culture at Bungie, which offers a peek inside the workings of a 30-year-old studio that is still considered to be among the best in the industry. The leak essentially revealed that the leadership at Bungie has been making one bad decision after another, and if they don't meet certain revenue targets soon, then Sony will be able to take complete control over the company. Bungie also recently laid off several employees, including seniors who had been at the company for more than 20 years, and this has severely affected the mood at the company. All eyes are now on the release of the next expansion of Destiny 2, which is slated for June this year. If it does well, Bungie will continue to have some independence. If it does not, then the Bungie that we have known for all these years may cease to exist and instead turn into something entirely new under Sony leadership. Working in the video game industry has always been risky, but this past year has proven that things seem to be getting even riskier. Here's hoping that things get better this year and that the employees who were affected by the leaks can look forward to a more stable routine. Thanks for watching and see you in the next episode.